the Lord. Hallelujah. And thank you, Jesus. And happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Well, you know what time it is right here on KAZ Radio. What's going on with Lady D and The Anomaly? Pull that microphone closer to your mouth, Lady D. And with The Anomaly, Sir John, take it away, Lady D.
All right, well, welcome. And it is just a wonderful Sunday afternoon.
Yes,
Wonderful Sunday.
Here in Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
It stopped raining.
Thank
So
you,
all the
Lord.
beautiful mothers can come out and show off their beautiful dresses and hats and all the things we do to look good. You know, not to say we don't do that every day, but today is so special.
Yeah.
And we are so honored because we have Auntie Mary in the house, Auntie Mary Grace, and our beautiful Kathy James. So welcome.
The better half of Larry.
Yes, the better half of our engineer,
Thank
Larry.
you.
Yes, we have these two beautiful mothers and grandmothers and aunties and everything as women do, big sister, little sister, you name it. We wear many hats, right?
Yes.
I would agree so, yes.
Yeah.
So, tell me, Aunt Mary, how do you do it? You look so beautiful.
Well, I'm glad you think that, but
Well, look at you.
I work every day still.
Do you?
This is my 47th year working.
Okay.
I'm 76, and working just makes me feel good. I like getting up, getting out, but let me tell you, when I get home, the party is definitely over with.
Okay. So would you agree that by still continuing working keeps you
Yes,
going
yes,
and
yes.
it gives you something to do?
Yes, you want to be with the public. You want to see what's going on. You care more about your appearance and everything. But after 3 o'clock, don't call me. I'm out. I'm out. It really puts me out
It's
when
a
you
long
put in a
day,
full
yeah.
day.
Yes.
But I say for someone who wants a part-time job instead of a full-time, that's even better.
Okay.
That's even better. But it is very important as you get older that you should be out dealing with the public and seeing what's going on.
Exactly. It's important. It keeps you mobile, keep your thinking, you know, and all your motor skills together and you're living.
Right.
You know, and that's what's important because a lot of times I see our elders, they get older or, you know, people that retire from their job and then they just become a couch potato.
That's right.
And they just stop doing anything. And then before you know it, they're not here, you know, because they're not moving.
Right.
And our bodies are so programmed at such an early age in life that we're up and we're
Not
getting...
mine.
Well, I know yours. Not you just do everything on the last minute of the dime, but only you can do that. Though come flying in at the last minute. But what I'm saying is that you know we're programmed.
Sign of
We're
greatness.
get up. We have things that we have to do on a daily basis. You know, then we prepare for going out here in the world, and so we're constantly moving. And the body is constantly moving, and if we're moving,
Keep it in motion.
yes,
Keep it in motion.
Yes.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know if I want to be working yet when I'm that, but according to the last statistics, I'll probably have to get my Social Security for benefit.
Right.
But
Right.
it's switching it out and doing something like bike riding or anything you like to do.
Taking a walk.
Taking walks.
yes,
I like
Keeping active.
just stay active. That's why I
Yes.
try to tell. Like my father works out all the time, and
good.
he's he talks about working out a lot and stuff like that. I don't know if I want to do that. As the years go on, I sort of stop doing things.
but you know it's good to find
But
your
walking
niche.
instead of
You
running,
could reintroduce it in
riding a
different way.
tricycle instead of a bicycle. Fishing. Maybe I want to do that more often.
What are some of your hobbies? What do you
Well,
like doing?
working with young people, I like to be abreast of things. And like the Cavs are playing. So where I work, we wear Cavs shirts on the night they play.
Okay.
So you can come to work in a Cavs shirt. So now I have 6.
Oh, okay.
So when movies come out, I go to the movies, so I can put my 2 cents in what the young people are talking about.
That's
So
right.
it's a lot of fun to be able to. They say, "Oh, she knows. She knows."
Right.
She know what's going on.
Yeah, and I like that. I like that. It's nice to work with young people, not to associate with them and to go out with them or anything.
Right.
But in work, I don't want to have to buy too many more calf sweaters,
Okay.
T-shirts. But I mean, it's just fun to be able to put your 2 cents in.
Right.
A 70-year-old to put her 2 cents in with 30-year-olds. It's just a lot of fun.
Get a
And then,
different
you know what?
perspective.
Yeah, and then plus, believe it or not, they are learning something from you. And I enjoy being around older people because I tend to learn, and they've lived life. So there's something that they could share with you and help you along in what you're doing,
Right.
or get someone else's opinion, so that's enlightenment. And I love that. Kathy, tell us about you. What keeps you?
What do I?
What keeps you so vibrant? Because you're so beautiful.
Oh,
You are.
I receive. Thank
you
you.
just glow when you
Oh
smile.
my goodness. Well, I have a loving husband. There he goes,
Oh,
right there.
the
He's right
loving
there.
husband.
And I love the Lord, all my heart, mind, and soul. I have a full-time job at the City of Cleveland Health Department, so that keeps me really busy. Been doing that for now 18 years.
Wow.
And I have ministry. We have ministry. Greater Grace Gospel Church is our church that meets at Phyllis Wheatley.
Okay.
And, of course, the baby. So I take care of my husband and anyone else that comes along my way.
Oh, he's the baby?
Yeah, he's the baby.
He's the baby. Oh wow! You've got your hands full. I commend you. Okay.
And I'm the anatomy. All right, I got it. I understand.
Oh, that's funny.
So you really have your hands full with the baby.
Sometimes, but then I have Auntie Mary to help me out.
Okay, so you Auntie Mary take care of the baby.
She gives me feedback.
Feedback, advice.
Yeah, how not to take care of it.
Okay. Don't spoil it too much. Okay.
Yeah, he don't need that. No, it's okay. You take care of yourself
Yeah,
first.
get a rest.
Yeah, that's what she'll say. She'll give me
Awesome.
that.
Right.
But I love to take care of people and I love to serve. So I get to do all that and all those things that I
Okay.
just mentioned.
Okay. And let me ask you, you mentioned something with you love the Lord
Mhm.
and how important that is
Mhm.
and how he has played a part in your life.
Absolutely.
Okay, tell us a little bit about that.
How I met the Lord, or
yes.
just
Well, how did you meet the Lord?
I was 19 and doing everything that I could, that I wasn't supposed to do.
Okay.
Everything. You name it, I probably did it.
Okay.
You wouldn't think that, but I did. And I had a boyfriend at the time, and he was going to church. He was a church-going guy. So he wanted me to go to church with him, and so I did. And then I met the Lord. I mean, he chose me. It was just amazing. So I remember sobbing, going to the front, and I know he touched me, and it never been the same after that.
Awesome.
Yeah, then I got baptized, and it's just been how many years has that been? Let me see. It's been a
That's
long
okay.
time. It's been over
Right.
30 years that I've spent with him, and even through different things. I had a first marriage, married someone who didn't know the Lord, and I still loved him.
Right.
I mean, God still loved him, but
Right.
it just wasn't. It wasn't an equal marriage, and things happened, and then I met the baby down there.
Uh-huh.
And then that was perfect because he was in ministry. He loved the Lord with all his heart, mind, and soul just as well. So we were on equal footing. It was
Right.
equal. And it made sense because we could serve him together.
Right.
We would be serving on the same page. He's like,
Uh-huh.
And you have to be that way, especially nowadays. It's just really important to both, if you're in a marriage, to both know the Lord.
Yes.
Right.
And both that make that commitment to each other. And of course, because you've got the Lord, that's going to bind you together. Does that make sense?
I
That
agree.
makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah.
Makes
Because
sense.
when
Yeah.
you
That's
when
what
people,
Paul talks about.
Well, when
Equal yoke.
yeah,
Yes,
You-
equally yoked.
because it helps. It really helps.
Oh,
It gives you that balance that you need.
absolutely.
And that's so important if you want to be with someone and share your life and build something and work together.
Yes.
You know, because it's not going to always be easy, and you have to be able
Well,
to.
it's a commitment.
And, yeah, and it's a support. You're supporting each other, and then you both know to come to God for your mate. You know.
We pray every day together. We
Yes.
try to pray every morning together.
So
And that's how we set our day.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, and
And that's a good example. Is that for all those mothers now out there, you know, is that's something you are saying? Hey, that's something you should be doing. You know,
Pray
if
over
you
your
have
children,
your significant
sure.
other, you know, pray together in the morning to start your day.
If it feels comfortable and that's what you feel led to do, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, that's how we've just come in agreement. That's how we come in agreement on things. And we and just lift others up in the family, whether they're friends, their family. Pray for my
Excellent.
Aunt Mary.
Aunt Mary, and
Yeah.
she's so special. So now, tell me, Aunt Mary, how was it for your mom when you were?
Or you as a mother.
Yeah. Are you your grandmother?
Yes.
Are you a great grandmother?
Yes.
Okay.
Wow.
So you've seen some things, you've experienced some things. What is the difference from then and now?
Well, I had a very caring mother. She always put her children first. Although as we got older, we were somewhat undeserving.
Okay.
But she always thought of us, and she always put God first. And you know, she put us second. But she loved the Lord, and she would tell us whether we followed what she was saying or not. You know.
Mhm.
But I grew up with that thought in my mind that it was important to serve God and stuff. But mother, I don't know. She's very soft spoken, and we came up in the projects on 40th, and what was ever in the pot, that's what we ate. You know, now the kids gotta, you know, I don't like tomatoes, I don't like this, you know. But she was just a sweet, loving mother. She had 2 husbands, but she always stuck by our sides, and she was always there for us.
How many brothers and sisters?
I have one brother, Larry's father, and 2 sisters.
Okay.
And so she was just caring. She was just super caring for us. She took very good care of us. You know, she'd take us out to Euclid Beach, although in those days it took about 2 hours to get out there on the bus.
Okay.
And she'd take us for the car museum. And although we were poor, she would get on the bus and take us to see things that was inexpensive,
Right.
you know, so we could
Give
know,
you the
some
exposure.
kind of some kind of little culture or whatever. And she was just an amazing person. So she lived. I live in a house now where I live with my 2 sisters and myself. You know, so mother lived there before she passed. So all 4 of us was in the same house.
Okay.
And it's been a good journey with family. And when Larry's father come to town, he's in Georgia. The whole family's right there. You know, all of us are
Right,
there. You know,
right.
but my mother, I couldn't be my mother because she was a little bit too nice. But she was just a beautiful person.
Too nice?
Too nice. So what's the
nice.
difference? What is it that she
She's too nice.
did that you wouldn't be so nice about?
No.
She married twice. I married once,
Okay.
and that's all I'm gonna marry. So that's the only difference. She was, you know, if the kids asked for something unnecessary, she would work in somebody's house to get it for them.
Oh, wow.
I would not do that. You know, my brother wanted to go to prom. We're only 13 months apart. My brother wanted to go to prom. I didn't think our mother could afford to send us to the prom.
Okay.
But both of us going at the same time.
Right.
But she worked for Mr. So-and-so, owned the shop, and she got him the outfit. She got the girl the corsage. She did all she could to make his graduation, although it wasn't affordable.
Right.
She made it work.
Right.
And I didn't want to have her working for both of us at that time, you know.
Right.
And I've just been blessed. I've just been blessed by having her for a mother. I couldn't even afford my yearbook at Jane Addams. I graduated from Jane Addams in '60,
Okay.
and I couldn't afford it. And a lady I met at church worked at Jane Addams, and she went up in the attic. They were closing the school down, and she went up in the attic and found a yearbook for me.
Oh.
And I got a yearbook, and I don't think they were over $15 then, but I just refused to have my mother. And when she presented, she's been my best friend
Oh,
since 5
memories,
years.
something really to
Yeah.
remember. That is awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
you just think about that. A yearbook, something that most people we just
You
take
just
for
take for
granted.
granted, right?
You know,
Yeah.
class ring and all of that.
I
going
didn't
to
get
the
a class
prom
ring.
and after
I didn't
prom.
want my mom to pay for it.
Really?
So I didn't get
That's
one.
what I'm talking
Yeah, and my
Same here.
dad actually got me a class ring. I remember I got my class ring, and it was highlight to me. I enjoyed it. I loved it. I kept the ring forever.
Did you?
Yes, yes.
I didn't want
Wow.
like you. I didn't want my parents to overwork because there's a lot of us.
hmm
And at the time, my father had lost his business like when I was a junior, or it would it went under due to some partners that were embezzling. So there was a lot of stuff going on, and they were really fighting to save their house. So I didn't want anything particularly. I was
Sure.
fine. I didn't even want to go with the cap and gown. I actually, because I had my own little business, I had clients lined up to cut their lawns and stuff during the whole graduation.
Okay.
And she forced it. My mother forced it. She paid for prom, homecoming, and all that stuff
Yeah.
without me asking. He even lined up my date
Oh.
without me asking.
How'd that
And
work
made
out?
me go. And I tried so many ways to get out. It's like, can't afford it. This should go to this. This should go to that.
That's
You know.
something. Yeah, my mom.
She told
my
me not to
mother
worry
was-
about it.
she raised us. We didn't, our stepdad, they got divorced, and mommy just kept it going. And, I could say we were good children. We knew what it was to take care of home and not cause a problem and dare not call her job. Okay? Not for no foolishness, not because we were at home, can't get along about something, and, but the thing was she provided for us. She struggled, but she never gave up. And for that, I appreciated that. So I chose not to go away to college because I had 3 younger brothers. And I says, oh, I'm not going to let my mom do this all by herself. I took a job. And I worked at a barbershop. My first job, I was working in a barbershop doing nails.
Oh, wow.
And I made good money, and I paid for my little booth, and, I bought my school clothes that's coming for September for the summer. And then when I got out of school, I got 2 jobs. I worked at the Board of Education. I worked at the Cleveland Press. And Plain Dealer, I worked at the Plain Dealer. And so I told my mother, you take care of the house, I'll take care of my brothers. And I did the shopping for all of us. And then on our paydays, on my payday, all I wanted was, please, just let me drive your car. Let me have the car so I could go out tonight with my friends. I'll fill the tank up, I buy the groceries, I pay the utilities. I have money, I make up money. There's nothing for me to do, but I to help my mother raise my brothers, because I saw her go through tough times with us, And so I got in there and did what needs to be done. And I appreciate her, Today she's not with me, but she lives through me,
Amen.
And so we keep the torch going,
Right.
That's right.
and so thankful because my daughter came home this morning from Atlanta. Hi, Isha. She's with her dad, but she made sure she came to me first. And I appreciate that, So these things in life, a lot of people, they take for granted, or they're not as fortunate to have mothers or grandparents and things like that. And we were just talking. I had never experienced having my own grandmother. I adopted grandmothers.
And that's a beautiful thing that you
Yeah.
could do that.
Yeah, I still have
That's
grandmothers.
awesome.
I pick up people along the
Right.
life.
Well, it's kind of funny because I was reading an article today about Abraham Lincoln and about his angel mother, as he called her, and how she helped him cope with the loss of his mother, as his father's second wife, who outlived him, but was his most secure confidant through his entire life, and how he depended on her. That was the lady who also taught him how to read through the Bible and Julius Caesar's commentaries. And it shows you how much she was a part, even though she had no other children, or his father, with her, how important a mother is. Because it changed his life. He could have still been a backwoods farmer instead of reaching out into the world and going out there and changing the world.
Wow.
So that tells you how important mothers are.
Yeah.
Generational speaking, what's the difference of motherhood now, you think? All three of you. Any difference, or is it the same
Tougher. I
challenge?
think it's tougher.
I
think it's
think
tougher?
it's hard.
I think it's tougher from what I see.
I think it's harder for what I see.
And what do you both see?
What makes it harder?
What makes it harder?
Technology. I mean, iPhones. You can just be with chatting with someone and you don't know who they're chatting with.
Yeah.
We didn't have all that when I was growing up. I mean, I didn't have the internet. I didn't have iPhones. I had a landline.
Right.
And when someone called you on that landline at your house, your mama, you would be sitting right. You couldn't take it to another room. You had to sit there. Who you talking to? What was his name? What are you talking about?
Or then on the other end, listening to what you say.
Right.
Right.
Remember, you said we learned how to take the bottom part of the foam off, and if you put your hand over it, you could actually hear. Nobody knew you were on the line listening to
Really?
Yes. Yep. And we would sneak in the basement and talk on the phone,
No, we only had one phone.
You only had one
Would
phone?
would the cord go that far?
One phone with extra extended cord.
Okay.
And he monitored that phone forever. And then he'll cut it off if he thought that we broke the rules. Because only you can have 5-minute conversations, and of course you had to pay 50 cents.
50
Wow.
cents. Wow.
Yeah, we had the party line phone.
Party line. Okay.
Oh, he catch you
Yeah.
off the party lines. He
When
only
you
interrupt.
pick up the phone and other people are talking, so you kind of shared the phone with other people.
Oh.
Remember the party
Really?
line?
I heard of it, but I never
That's
knew how
like a
it
chat
worked.
room or like
Yeah.
a conference
It was
call.
like $7 a month or something.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Telephone like
So would it be?
that.
Did you
You
know
had to
the
wait till
people?
they get off,
Oh, okay.
and
Oh.
then you could.
Could you
make
tell
your
them I
phone
have
call.
an emergency?
I don't think they wanted to hear that. I mean, we really didn't do that. We would just wait until they got off the phone.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking.
So you could pick up your
50s.
phone and other people be on here.
Yes.
So and you just hang up.
Yeah, and wait till they get off.
Oh, okay. Wouldn't listen to what they were.
Do you see
talking
that
about?
Doris Day movie?
Oh, did they have party lines?
Yeah, it was a
Okay.
movie. They
I
did a
didn't
whole
see it.
movie about it. I'm sorry, I'm a whole movie about it.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Okay. No, I
Oh,
didn't
was
see
it
that.
called Party Line?
I think it was.
Huh.
Oh, okay.
So how long
Have to
did they
look.
keep the party lines
I
going?
don't know.
I don't think
'Cause
it
she
went
was-
into the
met somebody on the
60s.
party
I
line
don't think
or
it went into the 60s.
Mm-mm.
It must have
No.
been the 40s.
Yeah.
50s. Yeah, it was old.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Like mid 50s, I think the movie was, because that was Party Line, and then the following year she did a pajama party.
Oh, did she?
Oh, I remember pajama parties.
Those are
Yeah,
fun.
those are fun.
Yeah.
That's a fun
yeah.
movie.
But people were kinder and, you know, they were understanding. But kids during my time, I mean, when my kids were coming up, I think there were a lot. They wasn't bullying and, you know, wasn't as frightful as it is now, you know.
Yeah.
The guns and all
Right.
that.
Kids
have
would just
many guns
fight,
and-
you know, and be done with
they
it.
have
Right.
many
Now they
fight,
now
but
they got
now,
guns.
you know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like everyone has a gun.
Yeah. And then it's just taking it to another level.
Yeah.
And then the harassment and the bullying can go
Yeah.
beyond the schoolyard
Mm-hmm.
and reach you all the way home.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I
So
think now,
mothers have to be extra vigilant now.
Mm-hmm.
were the teachers back then having affairs with the students?
no.
So-
Mm.
Well, I don't know.
You don't know you wasn't there, John.
Well, I'm just saying personally, maybe not as prevalent, or it wasn't taken.
Wasn't being told.
Maybe not.
Not being
Kept
told.
swept up under the
Yeah,
rug.
it was a lot swept up under
the rug. And you
They
gotta
swept a lot of
remember-
stuff up under.
They
Too.
swept pretty well.
Did they?
When people became adults, is a different then than what they are now. Again, this morning when I read the Abraham Lincoln article, it was in the historical journal. I saw an article about coal mining and how, like in the 1900s, how 6-year-olds and 7-year-olds were working in the coal mines and getting paid like
Wow.
adults. And they had a picture of a 6-year-old smoking a pipe.
Oh no.
And that was 1910. So the country, I think, has changed in the sense our aspects of what's
definitely.
an adult. And my wife Lois was like, "Wow!" And I said, "Actually, one of my mentors at church, the church I grew up in, Mr. Tibby, he mentioned that he started working in the coal mines when he was 9.
Oh
Wow.
my goodness.
And when I got to know him, he was permanently, his back was
I
stupid.
mean,
He couldn't
hunched over.
yeah, he couldn't stand up. He was so funny,
Wow.
him and his wife. They were the funniest people I've ever met in my life. Even now, just funny. So funny. But he never, he used to do magic tricks and stuff like that. And it's like, I really didn't see that he was like, down about what he had to go through. And working that young all your life. I just thought it was so amazing.
He worked because his family needed him to
Yes, that he had to mention that he had to. He ended up had to work because back in those, the company store, your house, your groceries was all on credit, so to pay back every month. So then it take, that's why he had to go to work.
Yeah, my brother and I so-called post on Fridays, so we would have a good dinner on the weekend.
Hmm.
And we sold the call post, and because I think you got out of 20 cents, you got 8 cents, no, 5 cents, something like that.
work.
So we would do that. And one year, the last year of school, we didn't have any clothes or anything, to talk about. And he went to East Tech, I went to Jane Addams.
Mhm.
And my brother quit school for a year and bought me clothes. He worked at Fish Furniture downtown. And he would give me money and he had money, and we bought clothes like that.
Wow.
And on our last year of school, he went back into school, and we bought some clothes because we didn't have anything.
Oh wow.
So my mother really, she's just really sacrificed. She sacrificed, and we just tried to help her. You know.
Right.
And when we both finished school, we lived in the projects for 2 more years, and we would pay the rent and let her keep her money.
Mhm.
We
Oh,
take
wow.
turns, like, it's your month to pay the rent.
Okay.
$40, and
Uh-huh.
that's your rent.
Right.
It was $40.
Okay.
Wow.
So it's just different. You know, my kids came up with their father working and me working, and it was good, but I don't think they realize the value and the sacrifice that parents have to make to bring their kids,
You don't.
give them clothes, give them something to eat. I don't think kids, during my kids' time,
Mhm.
realize that.
You don't.
It's a struggle, whether you got a mother and a father,
Or just a
Mm.
one
Mm.
parent.
Right.
or
Right,
mama by herself.
right.
It's a struggle to keep you on the straight and narrow and to get you the things that you need.
Yeah, it is. I tell my parents both, and it's really not until I met my wife, Lois. Happy Mother's Day, and Happy Mother's Day, Jen, and sisters, all 8 of you, and Auntie and Great Aunt and Aunt Jackie, and everybody else if I forgot you. Waverly, Happy Angelica.
Oh, he's remembering.
Okay. For Kwanzaa. It wasn't until I met her that I realized, because she'll say, you don't understand how lucky you were. You know, I know they struggled, especially when he lost his marriage. It was a struggle. He worked 5, 6, 7 jobs just to get us to save things and to get back on a footing. But I never went a day hungry.
Right. Me either.
Had electricity.
That's right.
Had water.
Right.
Pretty much got what I want. And
Right.
I'm an easygoing person, but I mean, we down there always had the top-notch clothes. You wanted anything different, get a job. You can get it
Hand-me-downs,
yourself.
right.
If you want something, right? You get a job if
Hand-me-downs,
you
that's
want.
right.
I wanted the Jordans one year, and he was like, "Don't you have a job?" What are you asking me? I'm getting kids for you. If you don't want them, I'll take that money and use it for your sister.
Okay.
But you got a job, so if you want those Jordans, but I didn't want to use my own money.
But now here is my question is like, now the difference of time. You talk about Jordans, tennis shoes, name brands. Did you all have designer clothes like that coming up where it made a difference? Because now kids
I
they
just
only
like the way they look.
they only want to wear the designer stuff.
Yeah, but my mom right before we would go to school, like in August, she would take me and my sister out, and she would buy us clothes. And I know it cost her over $200, and that back in the day, we're
That's
saying the
money.
'70s, and that's some money.
Yeah.
But I know she sacrificed. I'll never forget. I know I played flute, and she bought me a Gemeinhardt flute, open hold, solid silver. I know she told me it cost her $800. To this nowadays, it would be like $8,000.
Right.
And she worked overtime, and more overtime to pay for that. I didn't know this until later. I mean, you're not thinking, you're
You don't.
young, and you're
Right.
like, ooh, look, I got a flute, awesome.
Right.
And that's all, but you didn't know what went into
To getting that
for you
flute.
to obtain that
Right.
flute.
Where's that flute now?
It's under lock and key in one of my
You
closets.
still have it?
I do. I take it. I'm not gonna do nothing but practice it every so often. I'm not gonna do nothing with that
Okay.
because that was it was bought with shed,
Blood,
like
sweat,
blood,
and
blood,
tears.
sweat.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And that's when, I just realized that more and more. I'm like, they sacrifice
Mm-hmm.
a lot.
Yes.
A lot. Each kid, and there's a lot of us, had 1 year education. The work that went into it, I wouldn't be able to do it. I don't think I would want to now. and this is amazing. That's why I'm thoroughly, my mother, just a sacrifice. It's amazing.
And she was a single mom at that time.
Your mom?
Mm-hmm.
Jeez.
She became a single mom when I was 16,
Okay.
17.
So she was putting in time.
Yeah, so it was my senior year, junior year, going into my senior year, so it was a hard time.
And do you have other brothers and sisters?
I had a brother that ended up living with my dad, and then I had another sister who was a year younger than me, and then a baby sister who's 11 years younger than me. So I kind of helped raise her when my mom
Right.
was working. I was the one at home taking care of her. I'd cook for her. It's probably where I got my cooking from, because I used to experiment with her.
Okay.
And she really appreciated. She did. She would eat every time. She would never complain.
Mikey.
Mikey, yeah, try this, Mikey. Try this. So yeah, and she'd bring her friends over, and I'd feed them.
Yeah, my mother was a single mother when I was about 4, so my brother, so she had to bring us up. Then she had a brief marriage for about 10 minutes, and I had 2 little
Let's see,
sisters.
10 minutes.
And she had all 4 of us to raise.
Please.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot.
So she was good. She was very, very sweet and kind, and I just wouldn't want to be like her, but it's okay.
Okay.
It's
You
okay.
keep on saying you're not sweet and kind. She keep on saying the opposite. She was very sweet and kind, but I don't think I'm going to be that sweet and kind. That's not me. Hey, she sound like the
I mean,
most
like,
nice.
I tell, I'll tell
She-
somebody they full of baloney. But my mother, she's okay.
So you were more outspoken.
She's
there you go.
transparent.
That's
She's
okay.
outspoken, right?
Outspoken. I'm out.
She likes to be, you'll just
She'll cut 'em
speak your
over.
word. You'll speak.
Before you go any further,
Yeah.
I mean, they
baloney.
could, I give them the look.
Speak her mind. She'll speak your mind.
Okay.
I give them the look. But I have a daughter that's very sweet. She'll be 55 this year.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And she's never been married or had any kids. And she told me, she says, Mother, I want to go away for education because I don't want to be a housewife or anything, you know. And I helped her in that. I wanted her, if this is what you want, he would say, you're going to let her go away. You know, she signed up to go into a private school, and she's been gone since she was 15. How many years is that? 40.
Yeah.
Yep.
And she went to this private school. They let her in there. They let in 6 minorities, and she was one of them.
Wow.
And when I say more minorities, I mean Upper Appalachian and Black.
Right.
And people come from China all over the world to go to this private school that she was at. It's Suffield Academy in Connecticut.
Okay.
And she ended up going there, and they would take good care of her. When she first went there, I told my husband we got to go on the train to see where she's going to be living, and this and that. And the girls stayed in dorms where the teachers' family was down, and all the girls were up. And she says, I just want to make some money. I guess I don't want to be poor. I don't know. So she went there and she graduated. She lived in New York. She worked for different companies. She worked for Ernst & Young. Now she works for Morgan Stanley.
Morgan Stanley,
Morgan
right.
Stanley. She won financial analyst. That's what she went to school for.
Awesome.
And she went to Cornell, and then she went on to Columbia. And she's been in New York now 30-something years. She never came back home.
Okay.
But she's very... I was renting after a divorce, and she decided, Mother, I'm going to buy you a house. She said, get a real estate person, get the house. I put my whole family in it. Of course, they all had to pay rent. But the charm my mother worked for me, that she was charming, and then I try to be that way, and my daughter is that way. You know, she cares about everybody. You know, she does.
She
Big
does.
sister, little sister, this sister. She's very caring, and though she's never been a parent, she cares the nephews, the nieces.
She's a mother.
She still
Like
has
I said, a mother to
instinct.
many, you know, you're
Yeah.
just a mother.
You know.
Yeah.
So it's just been nice. I guess on Father's Day somebody could say nice something about the men, but my brother, Larry's father, is very nice. He raised 4 kids by himself later on in life, and for a man to take on 2 girls and 2 boys in their 40 in his 40s is not easy. And one little girl was 1 and the other one was 5.
Okay.
Wow.
And he sent them to beauty school to get their hair done, and when they go to church they all look like Easter, and he just did a magnificent job.
Awesome.
You know, and how many people think of sending kids to beauty school to get their hair braided and stuff? You know, somebody might be at home trying to
Do it.
Trying to do it, but he
right.
said, I'm just going to let them do
I'm
it.
not going to do that trouble. Get the professional.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And one of his daughters became pregnant at 15. He sent her to, he let her go on to school. He got somebody to watch the baby
Wow.
so she could finish school, have her prom, and the whole thing.
Awesome.
So that's my brother.
That
you
is
know.
really
Yes.
awesome. Just a beautiful family
Yeah.
all together.
So caring, so caring. He knew my mother struggled, and she would go on vacation with him so she could take care of the kids, and he could she could braid the girls' hair or whatever reason,
Right.
you know, he would take her. But we just had a beautiful mother. My brother is just phenomenal. I mean, he is, any man take care of 4 kids.
Yes.
And starting at 2 years old, 5 years old, and the
Yes.
2 teenage boys, he did it.
And you know, that story sounds so much like my mom and my grandfather, her father. Because my mother passed when she was 2 years old. And so she was the baby. And she had older sisters and 1 brother. And my grandfather refused to split his kids up. My mother's mother family were really well off to do, and they wanted them to give up the kids. And my grandfather says, no way, those are his kids. He would just go through tough times or whatever it was, but he refused to give them up, and he raised them up the best he could, and he did a great job. You know, so I understand what you're saying. Yeah. And my mother, she always told us, never split your kids up. No matter how hard it may get in life, do not split your kids up. I didn't give you all away, and don't you give yours away. You know, because my father didn't give us away.
That's right.
You know, and we could have lived with my aunt, you know, and had this wonderful life and the best of education and all of that. But my father, and you know, they were young. They really didn't know the difference. But they helped each other. You know, their sisters helped taking care of the other sisters, you know. Yeah. So that's important about family. And it's not always a mother being a single parent mother. You
Sure.
know, we have men that are doing this today. And we have men today that are
doing it.
You know,
Yeah.
I see them on Facebook braiding their daughter's hair, combing. I mean, men are really stepping up to the plate these days.
And it also talks about, you know, with your daughter, extended family.
Yes.
So I'd like to say to my two younger sisters, happy Mother's Day, because they've done a lot with your daughter, you know, stopgap, doing the babysitting, taking years of their lives to while someone is doing something like going to school, helping them raise their kids. So, you know, that's a lot. That's a lot. That's mother.
And that's the same with my sisters. They're both single mothers too. So the one has one daughter, and she's going to be 12. And the other one has grown children. In fact, she's a grandmother now. So I'm a great aunt.
Okay.
All right.
So yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. He's like 7 months now. So Logan. So yeah, they're in their 20s.
It's all about pulling together.
Yes. And it's important in anything that, you know, we do in life. Family, there's nothing like family if you can bond and work together. I can remember probably, well, I can't remember, but I do recall of stories where back in the day, people, 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 families would live all in one house.
That's
You
true.
know, to help each other get by. And today, sometimes, you know, because of the way life has changed, sometimes you may have to do that temporarily till you can do better, you know, and not be so much of I, me, we got it, you get your type of attitude. Yes.
Now, I will say when my mom died, when she passed away in December, all of us, there's 4 siblings. We didn't always see eye to eye, but in that time we did. We all kind of bonded, and we all just were one unity, all unified. No fights, no disagreements.
Now this is gonna be hard for mine.
It all worked out. It really did, and my mom would have been
There was
proud.
so many of us. Sister Lotto's voice won. My wife thinks that's why I speak so loud.
Okay. Put your bid in.
So, Mary,
Right.
can I ask you, what has been the most memorable Mother's Day you have had?
My mother loved purple, so I'd take her shopping. And we went to some of the stores and closed now, Value City or where.
Oh, that's my
She
story.
wanted a purple raincoat. Then we got a purple dress. Then she had a purple hat. And I'm like, what is this purple going to end? But she looked really cute, and she had on all purple that Mother's Day. She really looked cute, and she was just adorable, more like a little kid. I was probably the adult, but she loved purple, and I'm like, Lord, how far are we gonna take this purple?
And what has been your favorite Mother's Day you've had from your kids?
I don't know. My daughter always uplifted. See, I had a son pass on Mother's Day, so the whole family always round to cheer me up during that time.
Okay.
But it's been 30 years now, 32 years.
Okay.
So it's okay. God has blessed me to understand that it's His program. and
That's true.
he's there to comfort you in his program,
Right.
whatever his program is.
Right.
And I was comfort right away, and it was okay because I had to be here for my son and my daughter, and I didn't want you know. Well, I can't say any too much about that. The point was I was comforted early, and so I just went on. My mother was still living. My father was still living. My father left when we was 2 or 3, but my father got sick. I took him into my home and took care of him. God put us here regardless of our thoughts of the other people's bad deeds or whatever they have done. Our job, I gave you health and strength. Now you take your health and strength and help someone else. And that's the way I've always been. I don't care what you've done to me. I'm here to help people who can't help themselves, as far as relatives or anybody. You're supposed to uplift those people who need uplifting, because that's what I get up and read every morning, and there's no sense in me reading if I'm not going to put that reading into motion.
That's good.
Yes, yes.
What is that?
I agree.
Works without action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Christ says.
0.
Right, exactly.
That's right.
You have to put it in action.
So you can be that shining light. You know what I mean? My favorite part of the Bible is the Sermon on the Mount. It has always, even when I was a kid, made me cry. Because there's so much being said in that. So much. You know, and each year I read it all the time. I get a little bit more. And it comes down to what you were just saying. It really does come down to just that. You know, and, you know, I have a nephew, he's my cousin's son, going through his spiritual journey with Christ. The things are going on, and she wanted me to speak to him because some of the things he was saying, you know, you pointed out, like, not too long ago on the internet, how a lot of people are saying about Christianity and our African ancestry and, you know, stuff like that. He's going through that part. And I would say, well, you're going to have to find that out on your own. This is the part on your relationship and building your relationship with Christ. But you got to understand, you know, God's been hijacked from that by every nationality and culture in the world. So, but what he really wants is just a relationship with you.
Amen.
So if you can cut all the rest of that out,
Yes.
you'll be all right.
Absolutely.
Yes. Well, Kathy, tell us about some of your, I know you said you're not a mother, but you're mother to many.
Yes. I'm a mother to many through the church and through my work, you know, through my workplace. I'm always there to serve and to help and to advise and to encourage and to love on others. So I'm sort of that mother. They call me the boss woman.
Okay.
Awesome.
But in that case, it could be more like I'm a mother because I'm like a mother hen.
Okay.
And I kind of get them all together, get them all together.
Okay.
Get them all together. Just here's what you need to do. You got a problem, I'm going to help you solve it. So that's how I do that motherly role.
So see, therefore, you don't have
And
to
your
be
sisters.
you can be that mother role without actually bringing a child into this world. Because, and I want to ask,
Because there's children of all ages.
well, yeah, and what makes a good mother?
Patience.
Stamina, resilience.
Yeah. And understanding.
Understand.
Almost
Patience.
being a psychiatrist.
It's that coaching, mentoring part.
Because there's no book for mothering,
No.
Not really, no.
and each child is different.
God.
It is. By the time one get off the couch, the other one needs the couch. You know, and you really have to nurture them and try to understand each and every one of them. You have to, and then you've got to support whatever they're coming through. So it's not easy. It is just not easy.
If you had to do it again, would you?
Yes, I do it all again. long as God is available, I'd always. Yeah, as long as He's available,
Amen.
It's okay.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Yes, he is awesome.
Yes. So, what advice would you give some of our young mothers that are really going through it today? Maybe the young mothers who are just have multiple fathers and are really out here struggling. What would be some advice? What would you tell them, Aunt Mary? I know you got an ear for it.
Well, they've had the child. If the man is going to be productive in helping raise the kid, good. If not, you should move on. You should find a way to understand this. You've had this child.
Mm-hmm.
This is your responsibility, and try to make it work. You know, put God first. If that's not on your road, then well, it'd be best to put him on your road. But if not, understand this is something that you have done, and it's up to you to make it work very nicely. You know, to make it nice and make the kid
Flourish.
you make the kid want to be here. I don't mean make it hard, you know, have the kid feeling bad. You want the kid to feel my mother's in my corner and she's going to make it work. Between her and God, they're going to work it out for me. But other than that, if the man's not in the game, so many women,
They chase them
millions of
after.
women who've gone on with their children and their life and has been successful.
Millions, and you're right.
I mean, I would maybe also try to find a good role model or a mentor, a Christian
Yeah.
mentor, maybe in your church, or your grandmother. You were talking about your grandmother. That meant a lot. That wasn't really. You became your grandmother. Became
Yeah, I adopted her.
right.
As
So
my
so I've
grandmother.
adopted her as my new mama.
Okay.
If I can't replace my mama,
Right.
because she's gone on.
Right.
But so she's the closest thing right now that's in my family. So I even asked her, could you be my mom? And she said, sure.
Oh,
I'm going to be your mama.
so
Because I need a mom. I need someone who's
Right.
I can share with and talk with and counsel with and get some wisdom from. And I think that's what they're missing.
Yes.
If they can't share with their own mama, find another mama who's going to support you.
Right.
You know, just like I have student assistants or interns that come through my work, and I'm not like a mama with them. I'm sort of like maybe a mama or a big
Okay.
sister in giving them advice.
Right.
And I try to give them advice, especially if they're asking for it, and give it to them with wisdom and understanding so that they
That
understand.
is very important.
You know.
I know that for me, as a male, you know, I had a lot of sisters, so I had plenty of mamas, including my mama. And then my aunts, them too. That's a lot. But they always been in my life, and I'm very, very appreciative and grateful because I really did need it. Kind of hyper person. So, but also for my father. I just want to also say, you know, it's my father, but thank him because his friends became mentors in my life that each stage a different side, you know, and it helped me a lot. Even the ones who I didn't consider were very good friends with them, they were good mentors to me, and I learned a lot of things. I learned a lot. You know, I didn't get in school how to run a business or how to do a ledger, things like
Okay.
that. You know,
It's all important.
That's
well,
very,
yeah, it
that's
made me
very
have
good.
a very successful, you know, paper route
Mm,
and a very successful lawn care business when I was a kid.
mm.
You know, had my books in order.
And that taught you what to do as you were growing up
Yeah.
and how to deal with the money and
How to
management.
budget.
Yeah, my daughter
Right.
had a paper route. My daughter had a paper route until she left to go to school, and she saved $1,000. She delivered the plain dealer or the press. Press was at the end of the
Yeah,
day.
the press.
The
yes,
press.
in the
A
evening.
press. And come Christmas time,
Excuse me.
they would give her $20. We lived on 147th and Harvard.
Mm-hmm.
They just all thought she was great because she delivered their papers on time. She did everything on time. They just loved it. And she was sick twice. and her father didn't. I got out and delivered her papers.
Mm.
But she wanted her own money at 13. You know.
Wow.
Right,
She
right.
said, "I want a paper route." Well, you got to get a job.
I wanted a job, especially when he told me, I wanted a green machine. Get a job. And he kept on, every time it was something that was outside of his budget, for Christmas or whatever, he was like, get a job.
Get a job.
And I'm like, okay, all right. And I remember the paper out, I started wrapping them for other people, the older kids. And I would charge them a nickel a paper. And then, because back in the day, they had a den mother. And when people didn't show up, she said, John, I will pay you to deliver the routes.
Okay.
And that's how I got into it.
Okay, that's great.
And then one lady asked me to mow her lawn, and I did it. And she
Yeah, but
paid
how
me
many
for it.
girls want to deliver the paper? But
Not
Yeah.
many. There weren't that many girls.
No, it
Not,
wasn't.
especially back then.
No, I remember
I'm talking
the
about the
paper
70s.
boy.
Now, when I was
Yeah,
a kid,
It was
right.
always the paper boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's,
And
now
the girls,
it's
we
different.
talk on jobs like babysitting.
Right.
You know, you
she never
babysitted.
babysitted. She delivered the paper.
Yeah, I didn't want to babysit either. I tried that once and I didn't make it.
I
So-
paid for college, put them paper routes.
But
Did
you know
you?
what? I even
That's
had a
awesome.
track garden where every summer we had a track garden, and I would take my vegetables and things and go through the neighborhood and sell them.
Oh, did you?
Really?
Oh yeah, I was.
See, I was
hustling
Girl
early.
Scout.
That's
Girl Scout
very
cookies.
good.
Yeah, I would sell my vegetables for a dime or a nickel,
like
or
that.
a
I like
quarter.
that.
All
So my
right.
sister, Girl Scout.
Yeah, I love my Girl
yeah.
Scout cookies.
See, I used to babysit.
Still do.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
that.
I
No,
couldn't
that's-
do no babysitting myself.
I,
I had 4 sisters.
oh,
Had babysitting now.
Ah. Well, this day has been just so wonderful, and I'm really glad to be able to have you on our show to share your Mother's Day with us. I understand that you all went out and had amazing dinner.
Yes,
Amazing.
Amazing.
And where did you go?
Shooters.
Shooters? Okay.
Yes.
Great. Shooters did a great job.
Awesome.
Excellent.
It was amazing. It's like breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Okay.
That
Altogether.
was that much food.
It was like
Wow.
breakfast and lunch. I'm still waiting for dinner.
Oh, okay. See, now baby over here talking.
No,
so
see,
that
he
means-
just talking. He just talking.
He just talking.
Yeah, he
Kathy.
just talking. There was dinner up there. He
There
just
was dinner.
Yeah, if you wait long enough, you'd have your dinner.
You could have your
Because
dinner.
it was up there.
Well, that is so awesome. Well, I want you all to continue to enjoy the rest of this wonderful day.
You too.
And may God bless you.
You too.
You
Thank you
too,
so
our
much.
Everyone who's a
dearie
mother.
I'm
Yes.
humbled to be here
Yes.
with you. Thank
Oh,
you.
thanks.
Yeah.
This is great.
Thanks for coming on
Northeast
with us
Ohio,
today.
see, God gave all you mothers a beautiful day.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. And for the rest of our mothers out there, please take this moment and embrace it with your children and
And
with
the
your loved
children,
ones.
embrace your mothers.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Please embrace your moms because they go through so much. You just don't know. A lot of times people won't say anything. They just endure it, and what they do to make a way for you, one day you'll be able to do the same, for yours. So I want you to go on and just have a great week. Thank you for tuning in with us.
Grateful, blessed week.
Well, what's going on
Yes.
with Lady D and Sir John and the home of the what?
25-cent advertisement.
And Felicia wanted me to let Aunt Mary know that the paper route made me some
She turned.
Awesome.
Money, that's good. That's probably what got her on the road to want to do more and be bigger
Exactly. And
things.
look at where she is today. And I tell you, if you want to be a guest on our show, because we're all about what's going on, and there's so much that's going on here,
Well, you know what?
just give us a call at 216-571-2235. I am Lady D. Be blessed.
Amen.
And don't
Amen.
forget
Amen.
Sir John the Anomaly.
Oh, and the anomaly, Sir John. How dare we forget it?
Almost snuck out, man.